Frogman Friday.
Yeah, boy. What's up, everyone? It's that time again. Welcome to the Frogman Friday Show.
Presented by Transcend, the best peptide and hormone therapy. They put your health first so you can live more and worry less. Go to transcendcompany.com/Birdman to begin your wellness transformation today.
Today, our badass guest is Jeff Gum. He served 10 years as a Navy SEAL, exiting as a petty officer first class. He founded Sunga Life, Train Club, and Trident Academy in 2016 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He's also a cast member of the largest show in Korea called Iron Squad 3. You can catch Jeff on Facebook, Instagram, X, and LinkedIn. And to take a deeper dive, go check out sungalife.com, trainclub.com, and tridentacademy.us. Brother, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's so great to see you. I mean, I see you all the time. Every time I pull up a feed on social, I see you doing something for the greater good. It's like we're just meeting each other, really. I mean, we've known each other for a little bit, but I see you all the time. You even go to sleep with me sometimes. So anyway, oh man,
Yeah,
you
we
do
hung out in Miami at the iconic motorsports.
place was nuts.
Yeah, so cool, so cool. 100 Ferraris, Porsches, McLarens, all kinds of crazy stuff there.
It was the second largest privately owned collection of cars, and I'm a car guy. I'm from Detroit, so when I saw that, I was like, "What are we even doing at this event? Oh, there's an event. I gotta steal one of these." So, man, I was looking through your resume. Post service is quite insane, and I want to jump into that. But first thing I want to talk about is with every special operator, we are so dedicated to what we do on the job that you don't really think about what's next until that what's next comes up. And then when you're there, it seems that everybody has a really difficult time transitioning. I've only heard of 2 cases where guys are like, easy day, smooth as all get out. So there's a lot of people on this show who listen to it from an entrepreneurial standpoint, but then there's a lot of veterans and special ops guys that are active that are listening that, need to understand and continue to reinforce what transition really looks like. So what was your transition like?
Yeah, I'd say I'm actually probably one of the rare ones too. I had a really great transition. Now, part of that is because I had been an instructor for several years based in San Diego. I was running combatives, was the LPO there, and I did the Honor Foundation. I had a lot of time to study the GMAT, got that in, and then I had plans with my friend Kyle Maynard, who was born without arms and legs. We ended up going and traveling the world together. So while many guys were very kind of scared, I was also single, so it's much easier to take care of myself. I didn't have to start making a ton of money or replace my Navy pay right away. So me and Kyle started traveling the world together, went to 20 plus countries. I got my applications into UCLA. I knew I had the GI Bill to fall back on and was slowly growing my company, Sunga Life. It's like the first American Sunga, like Brazilian Sunga swimwear company in the US, made it patriotic and all about freedom. So I just didn't have the stress that other people that had a wife and family, little kids to take care of. And I got to go off, basically have a gap year, have all these adventures, use the travel and new experience as an education in itself. And then started my MBA at UCLA. So
Wow.
also I try to say you never want your memories to be bigger than your dreams, and I had really big dreams. So I had like a new mission after 9/11, and as in high school and in college, my dream was to go be a SEAL, and I was just so excited for that. And now I knew I could really have a lot of great impact, found like build and scale companies and be involved with different veteran foundations, go off and do different adventures with them. I had just done the Sparta 300 for charity, which we raised money for Navy SEAL Foundation, Glenn Doherty Foundation, walking 240 miles, retracing the steps of King Leonidas and the 300 Spartans. I did that with Kyle, who used like an electric bike because he doesn't have arms or legs, and Mitch Aguiar, and we just had like an amazing time and started doing more things like that. The Hudson Seal Swim, became involved with the adaptive training. So I was able to continue giving back. I was still very involved in the community. I think the things that can really make it tough for veterans is they lose a sense of community. I still had a community through these awesome things, and they lose a mission going off hunting terrorists, hunting the most evil people in the world. I was able to help support veterans still through these different things, have adventures, um, super close to my family. Now I had more freedom to fly back, see my family. My sister started having little babies. I became a very devoted uncle, going back and seeing them. And I had more freedom to be able to do all these things because now I was no longer in the military. So I honestly have had an incredible uh, transition, and it's been some of it like financially it hasn't exploded as quick as I like, but in the other ways it has really been amazing. And I know I can just keep checking it off, keep going down. I just, don't quit. my
Yeah, man.
my buds wasn't the easiest thing either, but I made it through, and I look at it like that.
Well, I mean, it's a great outlook, and you're right. I mean, if you have to, I continue to tell guys like before you get out, attach yourself to a charity. I don't care what it is. Get
Yeah,
yourself involved in the community so you can stay part of the brotherhood. What you realize is you don't lose the brotherhood just because you don't wear the uniform anymore. That's going
yeah,
with you wherever you go for life. But I love that keeping it high speed, low drag, not having to spend a boatload of money, but putting these, incremental things in front of you. Like, okay, I know I got this. I got to fall back here and traveling the world. That's a hell of a way to kick it off. It's pretty awesome.
Literally, I got out. I think it was June 28th, 2017. Um, Mitch Aguiar flew out. We did 4th of July, kind of kicked it off, and then me and Kyle, we flew to Japan. He had a speech there, and then we had a meeting with the prime minister's wife, president of Yahoo Japan. Did some consulting for people at the conference. Kyle spoke there, and then we were like spent 2 weeks basically getting wined and dined all over Tokyo, going to where Kill Bill was filmed, going to all these beautiful temples and learning about the samurai and all this really cool stuff. And then we eating incredible food, from tuna to was it puffer fish, and then next thing we're having the haikuza feed us raw horse meat and all this crazy stuff. So we're like, yeah, we don't want to fly back to California. Now we want to go to Barcelona. So then they flew us, had a quick little pit stop in Moscow, landed in Barcelona. Then we did Croatia Yacht Week, went to Israel. I carried Kyle on my back to where Jesus was crucified up on top of the mountain. And then we were helping a charity that takes Arab and Israeli girls, puts them on the same basketball team, and they become best friends through athletics. And then we were like going through Greece, going all over the place. Went back, did some stuff with Dave Vabora and the Adaptive Training Foundation. We taught an adaptive combative seminar. So we're like, all right, if you have arms, this is how you do it. If you don't have arms, this is how you do the choke. You stab them with your elbow, and all this stuff that these moves that Kyle innovated, being he only has nubs here and everything, so he does a stab choke. Then we went to Australia, climbed the highest mountain there. It was Kyle's third of the 7 summits. So he just bear crawls these mountains. And then I took him diving to the Great Barrier Reef. He had never dove before. And I was just his fins, basically. I would hold his tank. I taught him how to basically breathe underwater. And then I took him all around the Great Barrier Reef, like 50, 60 feet down. And he just had an amazing time. Went back. I went to New Zealand, did the adventure capital of the world in Queenstown,
Oh
and
yeah.
came back. My application had gotten into UCLA. I was accepted, and I started working for a crypto billionaire, flying around to Puerto Rico for all this different stuff with XRP and Bitcoin. And then shortly after that, started working on the MBA. Brought my first company, Sunga Life, which I had already founded, through the entrepreneurship pipeline, and going through class, having other MBA students work on it for a grade. Really, really smart people that worked for some of the biggest corporations and tech or found venture-backed companies in the world, and then getting their advice to help me scale and everything. And then I brought it through the business creation option. So it ended up being my master's thesis at UCLA as well.
Wow. Man, I mean, this is a book. I mean, you're writing a book as we speak. This is what an incredible life you've lived up to this point, man. Like you don't settle, which is a fantastic thing. And that's a common trait for the special operations community. But man, you are just getting after it and going. I'm gonna come hang out with you more often.
Definitely, definitely. Anytime. Basically, got a compound up here in Fort Lauderdale. Have a gym that's 2,000 square feet, 40-foot ceilings, big painted all black. Have a big giant trident up on the wall, and then have a sauna, two cold plunges, and it's just like all this wellness stuff. So anytime I'm feeling rough, I just get in the cold plunge, get in the sauna. Just makes me feel amazing, and all these things, just focusing on my health and wellness and family, and making your goals happen.
Absolutely, brother. You're doing that for sure. Let's dig into this. Sunga Life. Tell us a little bit about why you founded it and what exactly you do.
Yeah, so before I went into the Navy, I was studying at University of Central Florida, Orlando, and I started training jujitsu at Gracie Baja, Orlando. Tons of guys were there that were in the UFC, and then I went out to California, was doing buds, and I had been friends with like Kyron Gracie, and but we kind of reconnected when I was out in California. I started going to Brazil with him and his family, Honis, Cezalina, um, and started loving the swimwear that was down in Brazil. So I was like hanging out at the beach. I'm talking to a Brazilian girl, and I felt like a loser. I'm wearing these big board shorts, and I was like, yeah, I think I need to go buy some of these Sungas. I'm feeling a little weird in these board shorts here. And she goes, yeah, they're so sexy on men. I was like, okay, I'm buying 10 of them. So I bought like 10 Sungas, started wearing them all over the world, whether it was Croatia Yacht Week, a Vegas pool party, going to Australia. And everybody would be like, man, where do you get these? Where do you get these? These are awesome. I was like, oh, pretty much only in Rio de Janeiro and throughout Brazil. And then I I had hurt my back on my second deployment. Had to fly to Germany. Had a spine surgery, and then I started rehabbing it. Became an instructor. Started training with all these guys in the UFC, and all of a sudden my back started getting worse and worse, and I started realizing my time in the teams might be getting limited. So at 10 years, I went through a medical retirement, and leading up to that point, I started doing the Honor Foundations. I had a bunch of friends who had done their MBA at Wharton and were founding different companies. And so I realized one door was closing, one door was starting to open, and I realized I should do like the entrepreneurial type journey. And I really loved the Sunga product, and it was open in the U.S. So I made the first American Brazilian Sunga company. Made it all about freedom, and made a bunch of patriotic prints, and launched that. Had a minimally viable product, just two simple sizes, two simple designs, and started trying to grow and scale that, make other products. Was going along as I started then at UCLA. I created some more. I was like, all right, I need to go make some more mainstream products too. I realized silkies were really popular in the veteran community, and I can make them out of the same material. So I started making silkies. Started making um, like more functional board shorts too, because I was going to class and I wanted to wear my own product to class, but I can't be going to class in a Brazilian sunga. So started making board shorts, making more designs. And it was funny, while they'd have to do these pitch presentations, all the other MBA students would be in suits, and I would be wearing like a peacock pair of board shorts, but I would be showing all the epic things I had done, like the Hudson Seal Swim and Mike Tyson's podcast, and all like going across Sparta to Thermopylae, and all like the community I was building with the product. And um, I, it was, and my professors were really impressed. They're like, wow, it looks like you have a $20 million company or something here. And just from the type of PR that you get with this, going on Fox News, going on Stuart Varney with Fox Business, and all the different podcasts and things. So yeah, started going through there, and yeah, it was awesome, and it was a great kind of learning experience too. It also, while I went to college, I studied business as well, but I was just 100% set on being a Navy SEAL, as you need to be to make it. So I was a little bored studying business, and I realized being in business is really fun. Studying business is not that fun. So have my own business while I go through my MBA, and that way I can take everything I learn and apply it directly back to the business. And I can also use that same company to bring through these different accelerators. I did Startup UCLA, I did the Business Creation Option, and I did the Anderson Venture Accelerator. So I was constantly having to pitch my business to people that had raised hundreds of millions of dollars, had successful exits, or worked in venture capital. And I was constantly getting their feedback and able to take that advice, and also getting the advice from the faculty. And I'd say I honestly learned as much going through these accelerators as I did going through, and especially the entrepreneurship pipeline, as I did from the other MBA classes that I had. And it was also a lot more fun. So it just made the experience so much better for me, who can, us being kind of outdoor guys, and I'm more extroverted too. Sitting in class can be a little slow at times, but when you're taking what you're learning and applying it to something that the stakes are so high, like your own company, then it forces you to be more engaged.
Interesting. That's awesome, man. I mean, it's like a really clear path on like, hey, this is what you should do. And a guy like me would be like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna do it my way. And 9 times out of 10, I was gonna run right into the ground. So that's awesome that you actually ran it. Used every available option to accelerate it. So you're selling product. I've seen them. I saw Tage, or not Tage, Cage wearing them, and I was like,
Gosh.
Couch Gap. So
Yep. Yeah.
I saw him wearing them a bunch of times on social. And I'm like, what is he got going on? And that's when I found out about it.
Yeah.
And so you're selling product, and how's everything going?
Yeah, it's good. I've had millions of dollars in sales and all this awesome PR and everything. I have realized, though, at the same time, apparel is actually a really tough business, even when you're getting tons of sales and revenue. So I've had other kind of opportunities come my way through entertainment, doing TV shows in Korea, and founding other companies that can have larger margins and not be dealing with sizing and new products and warehousing and all these other things. So it just I realized kind of start moving into some of this other stuff as well, and move into different ventures that
Okay.
come my
Yeah,
way
I mean,
kind of through this. This has opened the door for me a lot, and where I kind of got my foundation in business, but also I'm not saying no to new opportunities like that as well.
okay. Well, I mean, I've talked to Ryan Williams, good friend, who started,
Oh, awesome.
Forge and Industry
Yep.
Threadworks and all this. And, he's, for years, since he started in the apparel world, he's just like, it's a tough business and you got
Yeah.
to grind really, really hard. And so, I commend you for doing that, man. It's like apparel and restaurants. These are
Yeah,
two things that you
totally.
just got to grind.
Totally. And I use Ryan's fulfillment warehouse. He's been an amazing partner for me. I have my stuff made, it lands in his warehouse. They put it all in as orders come. They pick it, pack it, ship it out for me. Industry Threadworks. They're an amazing partner, and I recommend anyone who's wanting to. It took me a couple years of doing it myself, and then finding out that he did that as well, that he would do that for different businesses. So I recommend anyone, don't be shipping it out yourself. Go put it in Ryan's warehouse, and he'll do all that for you, so you can focus on the bigger picture.
Yeah, man. Well, shout out to Ryan Williams with Industry
Definitely.
Threadworks. He is
Yep.
the man. Right on, man. Well, you got other stuff going on here. You got Train Club. Let's dig into that. Talk a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So I have a few partners with Train Club. Drew Platus, who's former Army Ranger, and he's had successful exits from other companies. Kaj Larson is a partner there. Rob O'Neill is a partner on it. Um, Mike Spinoza, and we have a couple construction guys. So we purchased a 16-acre property out about 30 minutes inland from Palm Beach, so it's west of West Palm Beach,
Okay.
and it's a great location because Boca's within 45 minutes, Palm Beach is 30 minutes, and Jupiter is 45 minutes. So a lot of people have hundreds of thousands of dollars of guns, if not millions of dollars of guns, and nowhere to go shoot and train. It's
Mm,
not like in the South or Texas where people that are wealthy have hundreds of acres and can make their own range. These guys have $1 million beachfront properties, but nowhere to go shoot and train. So we opened up this and we've been going through building it up, put all the berms, um, also have giant shade structures, so it's almost like these like a Coachella tent or like a music festival tent that is over you, so you can shoot, be in the shade. It's all turf. We have a really nice clubhouse which has a dining facility, gonna put in a podcast studio, gonna have cold plunge, sauna, gym, all this stuff. So it's kind of a country club for tactical training. And not only do you have the location, but you have Army Rangers and Navy SEALs that are there to train you as well. So you have the best instruction with real world experience and a premier facility to do it. So yeah, it's basically a country club for tactical training, and we have over 80 members already, and we haven't even opened yet. We're opening in the next couple weeks, and
wow.
yeah, I'm really excited for that.
That sounds really, I mean, you see,
Yeah.
you going to spend some time there. Is that really where your focus at this particular moment is going to be spend more time
Yeah,
out there?
I've been more focused on that. I'll probably go and teach maybe 2 to 3 days a week. Maybe if I'm like out of town and I come back, maybe I'll teach more days. But yeah, we're gonna share the load. We're gonna also hire a couple Army Rangers to help teach as well. Put people through the instruction, and yeah, I think they're gonna yeah everybody's gonna be really happy with what we have there. And the facility's insane. We've had Jake Paul flying on a helicopter, took him shooting. He had a total blast. Um, and yeah, so whenever you're in South Florida again, we'll take you up there as well.
Yeah, I love that. Let's dig into that a little bit more though, because I want to, promote this for you. So, how do you become a member? What's that look like, and what are some of the offerings?
So mostly at this time, I mean, you can go to Train Club and email or DM. You can DM me on Instagram at Jeff Gum, and we'll do a call. We kind of do background checks on everyone, make sure that they're all kind of good people that we're getting involved with, because we want to make sure everyone is really safe. This isn't like a normal shooting range where anyone can go and you don't know who's in the lane next to you shooting.
Yeah.
Uh, you saw what happened with Chris Kyle, like really, really sad. So a lot of people, especially people who are wealthy, they want to know who's there with them, and they don't want to take that extra risk. And so that's the type of facility we have. And then yeah, people once they're a member, they can just show up, put themselves in the schedule, they get all the training they want, and we have 3 different tiers. So if you want the like tier 3 basic tier, it's just for yourself. And then if you want tier 2, it's you and all your family members can come, and they're part of that membership with you. And then tier 1 is yourself, your family, and up to 2 guests for coming for the experience. So we have a 35-meter all turf kind of pistol rifle range. We have a 150-meter rifle range, and then we have a 300-meter rifle range where you can do little mini sniper training there as well. And then we're going to have night vision and night shoots and all these different experiences that people can have. And then we're going to put in a kill house as well, so people can go through, learn some basic close quarters combat, learn how to defend their home if they need to. And then we're going to put in a really state-of-the-art pool where people can do all the underwater pool training, running around with dumbbells, jumping jumping with the weights. Kind of, it's great as well for being. I've trained a lot at Laird Hamilton's house doing the XPT program. Kaj has too, so we're gonna incorporate some of that where people can build their lung capacity, build their muscles, but not be doing like high impact and damaging their body at the same time. So gonna get people really proficient in that if they want it. We can teach combatives. As I ran the combatives program for 4 years for NSW, helped create the combatives instructor course, went to Denmark, trained the Danish frogmen, helped them stand up their own combatives course. And so we have a lot of experience with all this stuff.
This is a wonderland, man. This
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
yeah. When you finish this one up, you come out to Texas. We do have a lot of stuff. Like, you got your backyard, you can shoot. I mean, we don't care if we have a range or not. Like, that's just Texas. But
Yeah.
yeah, having a place where you incorporate not only the laxity of, you already have been vetted, so you show up to the range, you act professional, and you do what you do. But then you have the human performance element of it too, which is like,
Exactly.
I'm going to spend more time than just a quick shooting range day. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and then they can get. We have one of our partners. His brother was on America's Next Top Chef he was a runner up, and so he'll be making healthy and delicious meals for everybody that goes through as well. You can get a shower, get all the chemicals off you, or get a workout. If you want to do the sauna, cold plunge, all these things. You want to hang out. We're gonna have barbecues where all the members can come, do a whole thing. We might put on UFC fights or whatever. So people will be able to come, have an awesome experience, be a part of this community, and teach them. A lot of these people in this area, they have country club memberships for golf and things already that are way, way more expensive, but they're not going to be able to use that to help protect their family if something crazy happened. We had a lot of people join as well after October 7th, when after what happened in Hamas, they realized, wow, I really need to. It's on me to make sure my family is protected.
Absolutely. More people are becoming more vigilant about what's happening around the world, which is, it's a beautiful thing for us to be in these positions, to be able to open these things up and help. So this one's really exciting. I mean, both your companies so far we've gone through are super cool. I've tried on a mankini before, going back real quick. My legs, I had to work out a little bit longer or a little bit more in order to make the mankini really work for me.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an interesting vibe I was putting out, but my wife absolutely hated it, which means that I absolutely loved it. So I'm going to go buy some of your product for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we'll push out, obviously, Train Club, because that's a really cool, and I have a lot of connective tissue out there in that region. So I'll make sure that we spread the word to the fire departments, police out there.
Oh yeah.
Just get the word out, because this cross pollinates. You get the civilians coming out to do their training and hanging out, but then you can also open up the doors to the law enforcement to do kill house work and train and all that jazz.
My partners are actually in the Florida State Guard Special Missions Unit as well. So DeSantis made a special unit that is mostly former SOF. We have a few other people too who are like paramedics or fire or former SWAT or different things, different drone operators, Navy intel. But there's 43 of us that went through this training, and it's basically a SOF unit under the governor. So he didn't want to have to ask if something crazy happened in Florida to get the National Guard from Biden, because they were a bit at odds. So he is able to deploy us during Hurricane Milton, during Hurricane Helene, and we can go out. You have all these SOF operators with millions of dollars of training. So he basically made us our own unit, and we can go out and help people ourselves and not be dependent on the federal government. So we take our unit and we do some training there as well. And then I'm also really connected with different SWAT agencies, and I have like Fort Lauderdale SWAT and Miami come up and train with us. And once we get the 300-meter range open, they'll be able to do their sniper training there and everything like that. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Well, having your guest instructors every now and then, anytime a team guy shows up, you say you can't come into our town without showing up to do a half-day special guest instruction. So yeah, I'll come out and help you guys if you need extra shooters.
Love that.
Heartbeat.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. This is awesome. All right, well, you've got the Trident Academy. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so Trident Academy is a kind of experience and retreat company, basically utilizing the assets that we have already, which is this state-of-the-art premier shooting range, and also the background we have as like 30 plus years in special operations between my partner, Kaj, who's a 13-year Navy SEAL. Drew Platus has, I believe, 7 years in the Army Rangers, and then myself. Uh, so people will be able to come in, put them through like a beach buds workout, and kind of have sandbags in place of the logs, but have them doing this workout for about 2 hours. Get them showered off, get them a good meal. We're gonna transport to the range, put them through pistol familiarization, rifle familiarization, do some transition drills, put them through some different combatives training, have lunch, have mindset talk, put them through some medical training, and then like that can be spread out over the next like 2 days. And then we'll do the Murph workout. Kaj was actually roommates of Michael Murphy, and we're both close with his family still. So it's a great way to kind of remember him and have everybody doing that workout. Do some sauna, do some cold plunge, do some breath work. Continue, have more kind of guest speakers and everything. Have a barbecue all together, and then on the final day, it'll just be like a slow, maybe 7-8 mile run, something like that, where people can run through, have just a nice little cool down, finish it off, and go home. So it's a way to kind of build resiliency. People can take this training back to wherever they live, help their family, help their business, just be a better person after going through this. Give them a little taste of what it's like to be a SEAL without having to, you know, fully commit.
Without enlisting. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
very cool. And this is on the beaches in Florida?
Yeah, beaches in Florida, and then part of it will be at the range, and then and once we build the pool, we'll do it there. But we also will use possibly the Hall of Fame pool or the Nova pool, and put them through a lot of that underwater training, kind of the first phase competency type stuff, some running around with dumbbells or kettlebells or whatever, and so yeah, that'll be a good experience for them too.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot more people that are really now gearing up to say, I want to try some of this stuff. Like that's the key is it's instead of telling people what Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Rangers, what they do or what we do, why don't we show them?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
you could show them.
And
It's all about experience.
that's basically what we did. We did a video with AMP. They wanted to have, they're all gamers on Twitch, and they play their Call of Duty, but they want to experience it in real life. So they came in, we put them through little buds workout. We actually had real logs for them to do the workout. It was more like a 20-minute log PT, but they got to get a little taste of it, and then we brought them out, got them shooting the rifles, taught them a little basic close quarters combat, and then gave them a full on mission. We kidnapped one of their guys and brought him out, and the guy was all in a hood and everything, all like orange jumpsuit, was in a kill house, and had little birds fly in. They literally got on the little birds, got like seatbelt on the side, flew out, landed at the kill house, went through, did a full like mission trying to save their buddy. The only problem was as soon as they got to him, one of the guys shot him. So it was pretty funny, but they had a great time and just had an awesome day, and they were pretty hysterical through all the training too. They were good guys. We do some of that kind of with the Trident Academy brand. We did a little SEALs versus bodybuilders challenge with Jesse James West. The SEALs had to give the bodybuilders a little beat down, and then they beat us in the bench and deadlift, but we won. We won everything else, and then just another one with top notch idiots, and yeah. So we do some different the YouTube challenges, and it's a good way to promote our company as well.
Pretty cool. That's really cool. So all this stuff that you got going on right now, obviously, it keeps you busy, and I love it. I love that you're an entrepreneur who's going after all your dreams and the creations. How can everybody listening get involved with you? How can they help you? Like, what do we need to know to truly help you grow your brands and get to where you want to be post service?
Yeah, I guess you can follow all the different things I do on social media. I mostly use Instagram, but I use a little bit of X and other things too. I'll probably start doing a little more with that, maybe YouTube as well. But it's a good way to use these things to help out with things that are very important as well. Like our friend Pete Hegseth, we were talking about before the show, who was a he was an Army infantry officer, has a Bronze Star from Iraq and Afghanistan, was deployed to Guantanamo Bay, and is just a super charismatic and like great family man, friend. But he's been my swim buddy on Hudson Seal Swim. I've known him since 2019. He was extremely supportive. He helped our the foundation, the GI Bill, that the GI Go Fund, and the Navy SEAL Foundation raise over millions of dollars because of him coming out and being a part of it, gave it so much more exposure nationwide. And now he's been tasked by President Trump to be the Secretary of Defense, because these last 4 years, our military has lost a lot of its lethality. It started focusing on DEI, being woke, a lot of trans stuff, things that doesn't help the warfighters, doesn't help the lethality. So Pete's written about this. He's written about the war on warriors. He was actually a major in the National Guard, and he was supposed to be protecting the Capitol on January 6th. But I believe they actually knew he was going to be a strong leader and help protect the Capitol. And they literally pulled him out. They said he was a right-wing extremist because he had a Jerusalem cross tattoo. The same Jerusalem cross that Jimmy Carter was buried in the cathedral. So the same thing that they said Pete couldn't be in the military anymore and he got kicked out of the military for being a right-wing extremist is what Jimmy Carter was buried on. And so it's a travesty, but I believe nobody believed he was an extremist. They just tried to come up with whatever excuse they could because they wanted to enable people, FBI undercover agents, to rile people up and get them into the Capitol. And they knew if Pete was there, they wouldn't be able to do that. And Nancy Pelosi called back the National Guard from being there to stop everything as well. So now Pete is going to be leading the change, bring back the lethality, protect the warfighter, not handcuffing everybody with crazy rules of engagement. And it's going to be and also they've lowered the standard because because of all the woke and DEI, they're trying to push women into the SEAL teams. One of my friends is at the Naval Academy now, and there was a bunch of guys and women going through the SEAL trainer. They have their little Navy SEAL day of training. I forget what it's called. And the guys were there and they're beating the girls and everything. 5 of the guys that beat every one of the girls and everything was performance dropped. They wouldn't let them finish it, but all the girls were pushed through. And then there was another girl who's the one who was selected for going through and going to BUDS as an officer, but she kept failing the swim. So instead of dropping her from the program, you know what they do? They're basically making her a professional athlete for the next year, and her only job is working out for the entire year at the Naval Academy, trying to get her ready to go to BUDS. And so is that equal? Is that and what is the point of sending a woman to train for an entire year just so she can quit on the very first day? What is the point of that? And it's not making our military stronger. It's not making us more lethal. It's just this woke DEI stuff. And all these things like that, when women were going through Ranger School and they failed something, they would get rolled and get rolled and get rolled until they would get pushed through. And so they could say, yeah, women can do Ranger School too. And all these things need to go away. And they're going to go away with Pete. Our military is not, it has one purpose: destroy our enemies, protect America. Yep. And that's what Pete's going to bring back. So I was there supporting him in DC. I just got back yesterday, and there was the Senate hearing going on, and Pete was super composed, did an awesome job. Democrats were a little bit unhinged there, but But
Jesus, man. I mean,
yeah,
stupid questions were asked during that hearing. It's just like, if you want somebody to act professional, you should be professional yourself. And just the
yeah,
cabinet, not all of them, but some of the cabinet that was talking were just, and it's not a political thing, but it
yeah,
was a joke. Like we need our war fighters to be strong and ready to go fight. We need to make sure that they know we cover their ass. So they go do the hard work. When they come back, we've got them covered. And then they need their budgets back to actually train with the state of the art technology. So, and when he does, I think we should re-enlist. I'm
yeah,
game.
yeah. They're just screaming about these like women in combat arms, women can do this. I wish they had the same energy screaming at Pete, who's actually gone over there and fought for a country, not like all the generals and admirals who were 04s during 9/11 and never fought, never had bullets fly over their head, never had to put tourniquets on guys who were bleeding out. They were basically just sending troops into harm's way. And it's different when you're actually out there fighting yourself and leading men in He's got more combat experience himself than all the secretaries of defense in the last 30 years combined, probably 10 times more himself. And he actually knows like real strategy. And I wish they had the same energy that they had for Pete Hegseth, that they had for General Lloyd Austin after we left billions of dollars for our enemies, for the Taliban in Afghanistan. And when he, all being a general, all those years experience, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and he left billions of dollars and he trusted the Taliban to guard our, who hires the Taliban to guard American service members? And because of that, 13 Marines were killed, were blown up there. And the same energy for Hillary Clinton during Benghazi, when they were left by themselves to fight for 13 hours. And Ty Woods was my instructor and my friend, and I lost him because of that. An American ambassador was killed. Glenn Doherty was killed, and another guard or aide was killed. I wish they had the same energy for like disgraced Hillary Clinton and Lloyd Austin that they had for Pete Hegseth there. But they never had that. They actually tried to put the blame on other things, and it was all just theater. And they were attacking his personal life, they were attacking his family, and all these things. And it was pretty disgusting to see. But Pete was super composed, and he went through, and he's got most likely going to get confirmed, and it's all going to change. It's all going to change.
Super rad, man. Yeah. Yep. This is awesome. Well, I appreciate what you're doing, not only to, continue to communicate, because I mean, one of the biggest things I always say is the best recruiters for the special operations community are the special operators. So when we get out, it's our job to go tell stories and talk about this publicly to ensure that the next generation understands that we're not Vietnam SEALs anymore and these
Yeah.
posters have
Yep.
changed.
Exactly.
But to still have that fire about like, hey, Buds is no joke. It's an ass kicker and it's going to crush you and it's supposed to crush you. We only want the people going into it that actually want to go do that. And then past that, it doesn't matter what you did in Buds. You go overseas and you're fighting. When the round starts flying, it's how you act. That's the key. We want those hardcore dudes in, and we're not going to get those hardcore dudes in if we're doing all this PC bullshit and that. So thank you for stepping up and continually talking about the SEAL community and being part of the communities to support the veterans returning home, especially the ones that are injured. And to showing vets that you can get out and you don't have to rely on a system like the government, and
Yeah.
that you can actually build your own company and actually make it, even if it's in a mankini. So,
Yeah, exactly. I just had another huge honor in DC. I was there before Veterans Day, and it was for the American Veterans Center. It was the American Valor Awards,
yep.
and it was really cool because I was speaking there with Ed Byers, Marcus Luttrell, Kaj Larson, Drago Dezarian, and all these guys were like heroes of mine already when I was just trying to go through Bud. So to be there speaking with them, and one of the questions, and it was to tons of tons of cadets and midshipmen from all the different service academies through there. VMI was there. So to get to try to help inspire the next generation. Some of the guys had buds contracts, so that was really cool. But one of the people asked, he's like, hey, I'm a little confused. I hear this stuff about being a quiet professional. And so what's like, what am I to think with that? And my story with that is, when you're going through SEAL training, when you're a new guy, those things were written. Yes, you have to be a quiet professional, because we don't want a bunch of new guys going out to the bar being loud and boisterous about being a SEAL. You have to keep a low profile. You're not supposed to be on social media and doing all these things. But if we're just silent when we get out, then the only people who are going to control the narrative and control the culture is going to be like Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, all this woke and DEI stuff, and it's going to rot and erode all the American values that we have. And so it's very important for SEALs who have gone out and done all these things and have different have gone out, see the world how it really is, all the things we did as frogmen, creating companies, doing all this stuff with nonprofits, taking all that collective knowledge, putting it together. And now we can speak about it just like me and you are doing right now, and be able to help push culture and our country and the youth the right direction. Otherwise, it's going to be, who do you want determining culture? Athletes and rappers and like celebrities and everyone that lives in like Hollywood? Like, that's not what we want at all. We're the mainstream media who, like, just think Joe Rogan gets more people view Joe Rogan than all the news stations combined.
Nuts. It's awesome.
Yeah. So
yeah, you're right, man.
I think it's really important. If you're just quiet, then you're gonna lose the next war. This is like they say back in the day, the pen is mightier than the sword. And through this type of stuff, we're able to influence everything. I feel the proper direction.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'll tell you what, man, I'm inspired by you, and I can't wait to continue to watch. I'm super excited for you to open your new training membership club, and I definitely want to come check it out. Spend some time there for sure in the cold plunge, my jam.
Awesome. Same.
And
I got two of them, so we can do it like same time.
Bring it.
Yeah,
I love it,
awesome.
Man.
Awesome.
Well, I'm super happy for you, man. I'm glad to see that you are crushing it post-service. And anytime you have anything that comes up, push it out to us. We're going to send it out for you. And you want to come back on and spread the word.
Okay.
It's just awesome, man.
All right. Amazing, brother. So good seeing you, and hope to see you in person again soon.
We'll be happy. Are you going to SHOT Show?
I am not, because then I'm like literally I'm going to be in DC for the inauguration, and then I need to be back here for a bit to just handle some work stuff. The range is about to open, and then my sister and the kids are all going to Disney, and I'm going up to Disney to meet them. Actually, my nephew's turning 5. My niece is 2.5. My other nephew's 8 months. So got to go up, do all the fun uncle stuff, and they get to meet all their heroes are Disney characters. Winnie the Pooh and Mickey and all this stuff. Disney isn't always necessarily doing everything we like, but the kids, it's a really magical place for the kids. At least.
The park is great. So,
yeah,
for
exactly,
sure.
Exactly.
Right on, brother. We'll see each other real soon. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Frogman Friday. Long live the